Hello and welcome to my stream. I'm the Caking Mum NZ. It's 9:18 p.m. in New Zealand on Friday night, and here I am talking to you. It's been a pretty good week this week. My kids have my daughter had her birthday on yesterday, so we had a present opening when she woke up. And the kids have had a pretty good week playing with the presents that they got at their party on Sunday, which I made the cakes for in my last video. They got so much, and they had so much fun. Before I continue, just a few things. The rules: if you're going to watch and chat, please be kind, be respectful. Your opinion is valued, but be kind about expressing it. This is a stream about PTSD, so trigger warning, there will be mentions of various types of abuse. Anyway, back to my week before we get into that. My son and his best friend escaped at the birthday party, so we went to a local beach and we had a barbecue. There's free barbecues down at the beach, sausage sizzle, and a few extra bits of food. My kids had 2 friends each, and then we had some various family members and close family friends come as well, so that was wonderful. So yes, my son's best friend likes to take himself a wandering, and he took himself down to the water a couple of times. His mum had to race off to get him, and my son saw him taking off just before I was putting the cakes out, just getting them sorted, and it's hot, and they had been sitting in the car, and they had been getting quite warm, so I was like, oh no. So I had to go and help the best friend's mum chase down my son and her son. Turns out a couple of picnic areas over from where we were set up, someone was having a work do, and my son and his best friend had found a bouncy castle and decided to just randomly get on. So that was fun. My son apparently got off as soon as he was told to, but his bestie didn't, so his mum had to go and actually physically haul him off. They wanted to go back. Even my daughter asked later, can we go to the bouncy castle? I was like, no, darling, that's actually someone's work do. My son wasn't supposed to go there. Your brother wasn't supposed to go there. So that was a bit of birthday party fun. Sorry, I've got my little D2 having smooches. There's our little mama's boy, my pussycat. My wee girl cat's a bit of an independent thing. So, the same as my children. Oh yeah, so the birthday party was great. Not much of the cake actually got eaten at the party. Kids didn't really want cake. They just like the look of it. My children don't eat cake. I think my son did eat a bit of his. My daughter gracefully took a plate and then, I don't want this. So her papa got it. He wanted a piece of her cake anyway, so yeah. No, good time had by all. And a bit of an up and down week, I suppose, for me. I spent quite a bit of yesterday in bed. I was just a bit worn out, drained. But I have had a cake go out today, and I was a bit late streaming because I was waiting to see the live of that. So that was good. Friend's nephew turning 21, and he's a Warriors League fan. So he had his 21st tonight, and he got his cake, and he loved it. It was really yum, apparently. So that's what I like to hear. Feedback is always good. And seeing someone's face when they see their cake and eat it. Yeah. Hello to my viewer. Sorry, I have seen you pop in there. Please feel free to say hi and chat. Yeah. So, PTSD, childhood trauma. Where did my PTSD come from? If you don't want to know any more about me than you need to, then stop watching. I'm not going to go into details, but I am going to touch on just what kind of a life I've had. Now, saying that, I have not had as hard a life as a lot of people I know, but I haven't had an easy one either. And it's this life that's led me to be who I am, and to do what I do today, and to raise my children the way that I do, the best that I can. Now I've got a little R2 on my lap, so the kittens will probably feature throughout the video. My mum was a drug user, and my mum was an alcoholic. She was a drug user well before I came along, before she met my dad. I'm not sure whether she was when she was with my dad. I'm pretty sure she smoked quite a bit of pot. I'm not sure whether she had an alcohol problem then, because she died when I was 19. I didn't really get much chance to know my mum. I just know little things she did tell me as a teen and what other people have told me. Yeah, she wasn't selective. She was sort of live fast, die young kind of thing. She put whatever she could into her body, from what I understand. I found a report after she died from drug and alcohol when the court case was happening for something I'll elaborate on further. And it was pretty sad to read. It's not something that a child should ever have read, and I shouldn't have read it, but I did, and I learned probably things I didn't want to learn. But so anyway, life with mum being an alcoholic, and once she left my dad when I was 2.5, and my sister was about 6 weeks old, from what I understand. She had a junkie boyfriend, messy boyfriend, and I remember some things, but not a lot. I do remember going missing once when I was 3 and being at the neighbours, eating fairy bread and drinking raspberry cordial. But we lived near a river, and my mum and her partner, I don't know why, they suddenly just realised I wasn't there and freaked out and went straight to the river to look for me, thinking I was there. Not one go one way, one would go the other. They eventually found me at the neighbours, just, innocently. There was an old couple. I think they had an awning off theirs, I'm not sure. But I just remember sitting on this deck chair and swinging my feet and happily eating my fairy bread and talking to them, and drinking my raspberry cordial, and then being found and being cuddled and then being well and truly told off. I kind of remember the house we live in and things like that too. I've got quite a visual memory on some things. But her dependency on drugs and alcohol meant that her choices for relationships weren't that great, and when that junkie boyfriend left, I remember there being a boarder who wasn't particularly nice, and he was quite happy to tell us off and punish us. Mum was free with the wooden spoon, but more on the bench than bums and things like that, so it's not a massive case of like physical abuse. But when I was, from what I worked out, 6, nearly 7, my mum met a man, and he unfortunately sexually abused me. And that's hard to say because this is going to be on a public channel, and over a period of 3 years. So I've had lots of flashbacks over my life. Things went to court, things never, it didn't go our way for various reasons. I can remember giving testimony via CCTV, and I remember the dress that I wore, things like that. I remember seeing him being taken from the courthouse to a police car as we were being led out of the courthouse from another door, and being absolutely terrified. Still do have flashbacks and memories now, and they affect me in different ways. Relationships, I was taught that sex meant love, because he'd tell me he loved me, and that this is what people do when they love each other. So that led me to believe many times in my 20s that somebody loved me because they wanted to have sex with me, and that is so not true. Men use sex. What is it? Women use sex to get love. Men use love to get sex. And for the majority, that is. And I've had some good serious relationships, but there are always triggers in them. Middle of sexual activity, and I start crying and have to stop. And if the person doesn't really know me that well, that can be a bit freaky for them and for me. And so, because of that, I sort of avoided having serious relationships after my first engagement broke up. I've been engaged 3 times, married once. My first engagement broke up, and I didn't really want to be with anyone because that had set off a few things for me there. My very, very first boyfriend, we spent a weekend together, and it was before Mum died, and we spent the weekend together, and I rang Mum crying, and I had to go home, and she basically avoided me for the whole time because I had flashbacks, and I had questions, and she just didn't want to answer them. So in my 20s, when I moved to another city after my fiance and I broke up, I went on a dating site, and if I liked the look of somebody and they were nice enough, then I actually, before I moved down there, set up someone to have as a playmate when I moved down there, and I think we lasted a couple of months of fun before we but I wanted detached relationships. I didn't want anything attached, because attachment meant getting my heart broken, and it's I had to sort of teach myself that sex and love are 2 different things. And I met some awful people. I met some really, really awful people, and I'd had I have been raped in a way I didn't want to be, I guess. Non-consensual, and then, that guy tried to contact me like a few weeks after, and it was just like, don't even, no way. I blocked him, and no fucking way. It was sort of like, what you did to me, that was fucking awful, like, why would you do that? And he was like, what did I do? Righto. So detached friends, usually like the same one for a wee while, but not anything serious, every few weeks kind of thing. I had a serious-ish relationship that was complicated, because I know you'll probably watch this video at some point, and didn't work out for various reasons, but we've stayed friends for a long time as well, and we had some cool experiences together, and travelled the West Coast and South Island, so that was my first introduction to a relationship where 2 people that have issues the same aren't always going to work out, because they can trigger each other, and I'm pretty sure that's what we did, So, since having my daughter, I had a flashback that my mum was a participant as well in the sexual abuse that I endured, so it wasn't daily. It was whenever he wasn't working, so he would go away for weeks to work, and come back and be quite afraid. Be happy as when he wasn't around. When he knew he was coming back, would be quite afraid. He had a very big belt that he would punish us with. And one time my sister and I thought, if he can't find it, we won't get hit with it if we've done something wrong. And so we we belted around the bottom of the toilet, thinking he wasn't going to see it. And he found it, and we got a thrashing because, yeah. I ended up in hospital because of him being rough with a, what do they call it, an irritable hip. Because there was no explanation as to why my hip was sore all of a sudden overnight. We'd been given a joint to relax us, and yeah, that meant that, yeah, I mean, you can imagine what might have been done to dislocate my hip, basically. I was probably only 7 or 8 at the time. It did say trigger warning, and I think I did say in an earlier video that I may get emotional. It's hard to talk about, but I want to do this. Like, I want my story to be told so that someone else who might have been through the same thing knows that they're not alone, and knows that you can have live a full life after this kind of thing happens, with the right support and the right help. So yeah. Thank you for still watching. Every time I'm looking down, I'm looking at the cats. I've got one snuggled up here and one snuggled up here. They like to be very close to me. This one sleeps as close to my head at night as he can, and this one here sleeps down by my feet. So yeah, I endured quite a bit of sexual abuse, but when it came out and it came to court, it wasn't believed. I wasn't believed by family members, and to this day I still think that there are family members who don't believe me. I know my dad questioned me a few years ago, and it just about broke me. Like, my whole life and everything I've gone through, and I'm in my 30s and you don't believe me. I've been made to feel ashamed that it's not okay to talk about, that you keep it swept under the rug. And that's not fair, because it wasn't my fault. I didn't, as a 6-year-old child, ask for someone to do that to me. I wouldn't have even known what it was. So, you know, but I was made to feel dirty and ashamed. It was made to feel like I was a liar. School report from a teacher when I moved schools after that was that I was always into the boys, and I seemed sexually attracted to the boys. Yes, I'd say I would have had an interest in boys because I'd been thrown in with a man, you know. I didn't have my first boyfriend was when I was 19. I didn't have a boyfriend through high school because I didn't want people to think I was a slut. I got called slut by a family member once for wearing a black bra under a white blouse to school. It was a sweltering hot day. I had worn my woolen jersey all day, and in the sweltering heat that's not fun, but I didn't want anyone to see my black bra because it's trashy. Well, that's what I was told. And so I had worn my jersey all day, and I'd endured the heat, and I'd gotten off the bus at the end of the driveway, and I'd taken my jersey off, and I put it around my waist and walked down the driveway. Walked in the house, and the family member was like, "You slut, you wore a black bra under your white blouse without a camisole, without a singlet or anything else. Rah, rah. You're a slut, you're a..." I'm a 13-year-old girl who wore a black bra because all the rest of her bras were in the wash, and who wore her jersey in the sweltering heat. You can ask anyone. And who just took her jersey off to walk down the driveway. I've been called a slut a lot because of what someone did to me. by people who should never have ever said things like that to a teenager and to an adult. Sorry, I'm a bit fidgety, obviously. Part of CPTSD is hypervigilance. So maybe it's a little ADHD-like, but it's not, apparently. And I have had anti-anxiety tablets today, so I should be more chill than I am, but this is hard. And I haven't got any plan to stick to. I was thinking earlier, like, what things I was going to say, and one of the things was, I remember coming home from school, and he'd obviously come home from work, and he'd been out duck shooting, and the ducks were all hanging on the fucking washing line, the rotary line, by their feet, and I was like, grossed out, little girl, like, grossed out. Knew we were going to eat these, like, duck stew pellets and bones, and but, you know, it was like, this is gross. And if my memory serves me right, the comment was, if you tell anybody what we do, or you tell anyone our secret, this would be you and your mum and your sister and your nana and your papa and your... I don't remember all the threats, but I know that I was threatened. I know that I was scared that my family would be hurt if I didn't let him do the things that he wanted to do. I also knew that I could tell him to stop and that I could talk to an adult. But I was too scared to talk to an adult. We did keeping ourselves safe at school. You know, talk to an adult that you feel safe with. And I didn't want to get my mum in trouble. Not him. I didn't want to get my mum in trouble. I protected my mum something fierce. Sorry. I'll try not to ugly cry, but my false lashes mean that my tears stick around a little bit longer than they should. Like, to be a little child in a position where you feel you can't talk to an adult at all about what's happening because you're scared that everyone around you that you love is going to die, be killed, be hurt, be harmed. Are you really going to say something? I mean, I know, yeah, others would, probably, but I didn't. I was so scared, and I'm a people pleaser. I think I said in an earlier video, my star sign is Cancer, and I was born in the year of the dog, Chinese horoscope, so I have a lot of empathetic traits, and also, given the trauma that I've been through in my childhood, I am a natural empath, which means I draw narcissists, and that's going to be another video, but I do attract narcissists. My mum was a narcissist. The report that I found, that I mentioned earlier, she said that she drank and she took drugs and she let happen what happened because she resented me and my sister. We took away her life, we took away her chance to have, you know, her freedom. But it was her choice to have us. You know, it wasn't our fault. And so that was my choice to have my children, and I love them with all my heart. I do what I can when I don't have them, and I make the most of my life when they're with their dad, you know, because they're my world, and they deserve my all, and I give them my all. Going back to keeping ourselves safe, I've had that talk with my daughter recently. If an adult hurts you or touches you in places, you know, we've told her that only people that are allowed to touch her bottom say are mummy, daddy, stepmum, grandma, granddad, if they're putting ointment on, and that's it. No one else is allowed to touch her there. And if anybody does, she's to tell mummy, daddy, stepmum, grandpapa, trusted adult, teacher, anyone, straight away. I've also taught her that secrets aren't good. We don't keep secrets from mummy and daddy. So if any adult tells you to keep a secret, don't. You come straight to mummy or daddy and you say, somebody told me to keep a secret. And it means she's only 6. She seems to get it. But, I'll lift a cat off my leg because my leg's going numb. Sorry, Artu. She seems to get it, and I only hope that if she is ever in that position, that she will know that she can come to mum and she can come to dad. Because I've had recently a bit of behaviour from her where she's like, I don't want to tell you, I can't tell you. Things like when she came home from her dad's, which apparently is just her being a poo. But I said to her, you can tell mummy anything, and I want you to tell me things. I want you to know that you can talk to me. I want you to know that mummy will listen to you and you won't get in trouble. Because I don't want her to ever feel like she's going to get in trouble for telling on an adult, for being inappropriate or for doing something an adult shouldn't do, So, life experiences certainly do give you a bit more perspective in parenting. I mean, because mum was an alcoholic, I barely touch alcohol these days, especially as a parent. Half a can of bourbon because that's pretty much all I like, and I feel sick and I don't want to drink anymore. So, in my 20s though, I did binge drink and I lost a friend for 4 years, and we're friends again now, but we'll never get our friendship back. And I drank then, binge drank because social situations were too hard for me. Hypervigilance, PTSD, always looking over my shoulder, always thinking that I'm not good enough, that people are judging me because family have judged me over the years. Yeah. Sorry, getting a little bit sidetracked by the bells of the kittens, and thank you to my viewer for watching. So I'm gathering myself. I'm trying to think where my thoughts are going because the tinkly bells are going away. My teenage years, I was pretty angry, pretty confused. When you go through puberty, it's hard enough, but going through puberty when you've been sexually abused. I got put in anger management when I didn't need anger management. I needed trauma counselling, and in the end I did manage to get that once I got to go and live with my mum. A situation where I was living in and circumstances that were out of my control as a 14-year-old. I tried to take my life. Started off just silly little things like cutting my legs. Didn't want to cut my wrists because people would see that, but if I cut my legs I could pull my school socks up or whatever. Burning myself with the jug intentionally, but not long enough to really do, and family member I was with at the time walked in on me doing that once, and you're just doing it for attention, and possibly I was. I wanted to live with my mum. I missed my mum. Wasn't ideal where we were living, even though, we were living there out of the kindness of their hearts. And they were family, and they were doing the best that they could, but for me, I don't feel like I was treated very well, and still as an adult, that's something that I find hard to deal with, and I don't really have a lot to do with that family member, because that family member doesn't seem remorseful or like to even realise that they've done something wrong, and I don't feel like broaching the subject with that person would do the relationship or the family any good. The family sort of feels like it's fallen apart, especially at this level, my generational level, since my grandmother passed away. So, so what started out as just little, I guess, attention-seeking things ended up with me raiding my Nana's bottom drawer, which had all my late grandfather's medications that were well expired because he'd been dead since 1991, and this was 1997. So, I ended up taking 19 expired diclofenac, also known as Voltaren. Clearly not a high dose, because I'm still here. But I just felt like I'd been sent to my stepmother's for punishment and decided that I'd like to live with her and she would have taken me on. But no, wasn't living there. I wanted to live with my mum, and that was discussed, but then my father said no, he didn't want me living there. My dad wouldn't have me. I'd lived with my grandparents and I didn't want to live with them again, because living with my granddad was not a bed of roses. A very religious man, and I was a very confused young teenager, and so I was forced to basically stay where I didn't want to be, where I didn't feel safe, where I felt attacked, where I kind of felt like a slave. As a 14-year-old, I worked as many hours as I possibly could just to be out of the house, so school and work meant that I didn't really have to be home much. And my one night a week that I got with my mum took me away from that too. So, but I just was a teenager who didn't have friends, who got picked on. I had my head pushed into a window and by another student while waiting outside class one day, and I went to slap her back because fuck that, I'm not having my head pushed into a fucking window. And I got detention. I got reprimanded. And her mum rang my guardian and had a go, and my side, no one would listen. I slapped her, but apparently I punched her. And I hadn't even actually made connection. I'd tried. So I just felt, and we went on school camp. My friends didn't want to be in the same cabin room as me. Everything felt really fucking horrible. When I came home from that school camp, my dad was waiting for me after school, getting off the bus, and he told me that my grandma had cancer, and that was it. That was the end of it. I just wanted to be gone, so I went to my mum's and had my weekend with her. I'd gone to work on the Sunday, and I had just felt like shit. I didn't want to be there, and I'd asked if I could go home, so my mum and my guardian had come in to do the shopping, and the supervisor said I could go home, so they took me home. And my mum had wanted to look after me, and she'd been told no, if she's too sick to work, then you can't be here, you need to go. And so mum had to go, and she would have stuck around to look after me, So I wrote a note and I put it on my door, and I took these pills and got a great big glass of water. I was questioned as to why I was drinking so much water. I was like, I'm thirsty, I'm sick, I can drink. I took a great big glass of water. And I just took these 19 tablets one by one. The night was discovered, I was found, I was semi-conscious. I can remember going on the gurney, down the hallway, down the steps, into the ambulance, being in and out of consciousness the whole time. Remember coming to in A&E, and my dad's face was there. and I just thought, why the fuck didn't I die? Because this is the last person I want to see. I want my mum, not my dad. Right. Why is it my dad that I'm looking at, not my mum? I don't even think my mum was told until the next day. The result of that was I ended up going back to live with her, even though she had alcohol problems and things, because it was just the best place for me. Yeah. Oh, kittens are rude. Kittens are wreaking havoc. Yeah, so my relationship with mum during my teen years was really hard too, because she kept drinking on and off. She wasn't meant to drink. She'd go dry. She'd get back on the dry booze. I found out she's back on the booze when I was 16, and I actually rang a social worker that I knew who just happened to work for a Christian foster agency, and she found me a home overnight down behind my mum's house. Like, just down the road from my mum's house. There was an orchard between. And I lived there for almost a year, and they were wonderful, wonderful people, and taught me a lot, and did a lot for me, and, but when, I was at uni when my mum died, and, she had been in hospital the year before, but when she'd come to visit me, and told don't drink, I'm fairly sure that she had been drinking, because that was the holidays that I went home after I'd had sex for the first time as an adult. And I know I'd argued with her, and pretty much the last interaction I had with her face to face was horrible. So, yeah. Thank you for still watching. If you are interested in continuing to, please do. If not, that's okay. If you follow my channel, awesome. If you don't, please do. If you know people who might benefit from watching my videos, please share. I'll put them up on my YouTube channel, and they can be watched, and they'll also, excuse me, be on here. I've got hiccups. Yeah, 20s I went off the rails. 30s I found a really wonderful man who bought me flowers and remembered anniversaries and remembered birthdays and was so thoughtful, and my PTSD ruined that relationship because I would get insecure and I would get triggered, and if I felt like someone was losing interest, pulling away, I'd get needy and horrible. Oops, getting just about smashed itself under a piece of wood. I've got a piece of MDF to hold my door open. He's knocked it down, so yeah, so PTSD for me triggers, there are lots of them, and throughout my life I'm probably going to find still more. Like I said earlier, my daughter's birth brought one up that I really wish I hadn't. Having sex with someone for the first time can trigger it. Having sex with someone for like the 50th time can just randomly trigger it. Body language, tone of voice, all of that kind of thing I pick up and take personally. I'm learning not to, and I don't do it deliberately like a lot of people do. Just take everything so personally. I don't choose to take things personally as such. How is it? You try not to, but up here doesn't always, yeah. Something I've learned about early childhood trauma and brain development too is that they call it your neural pathways in your cerebral cortex. So when you're angry, when you're upset, you go offline, right? Your cables come loose, your modem dies, whatever. You flip your lid, flip top head, And your neural pathways are responsible for these things. And they run up the back of your neck. When you experience childhood trauma, from what I've learned from my therapy and things, is that pathway doesn't form properly. And so signals, hormonal signals and things that your brain sends and things through your bloodstream, through your nerves, through whatever, they don't always get to the right places. And the pathway is not as long. It's stunted growth, basically, because of that trauma that you're going through. Your body only grows what it needs to grow, it only develops what it needs to develop. Even now, when I get really anxious and highly triggered, I can't eat. And sleeping isn't that wonderful either. A lot of people get triggered and they sleep and sleep and sleep. I used to, and I can't now. I don't know whether that's because I'm a mum and I'm always tuned into. I've got kids. I have had periods where I'll come and have a nap and I can hear them, but they're not very far away, so they can scream out, and it's hard to have a nap with them around. But then the other day I slept and slept, which I haven't done in ages. I'm constantly, like, if I see someone who looks like the person who sexually abused me, I can freak out. I've actually had a couple of guys on dating sites where, they're really lovely guys, but they look too much like he did. And I'm not the type of person to ask them to change their appearance, things that they can change about their appearance, so that it makes it easier for me, because it's not them, so it's just easier for me just to go, oh, well, I just can't do it. Well, you might be a nice person, but you look too much like, and that's not your fault, but I can't deal with that. It's something I've got to get over too, I guess. I do fall in love easily. I fall in love with a soul, a heart. Looks don't matter, although, I've had people tell me that you don't go for lookers, but to me, everyone that I've dated, they're gorgeous. Once you stop dating them, they might not be so gorgeous to you anymore. But you know what I mean. I thankfully haven't fallen for major love bombers, but I did recently fall for someone who made out that they were somebody that they actually weren't. And then when questioned, were basically like, well, I'm not that person, I'm never going to be that person, but you were that person for a few weeks. And that was pretty hard. Relationships just in general are hard. Having mental health issues makes it harder. Having mental health issues from sexual abuse is even harder. From any kind of abuse. And there are so many people from my generation that have suffered that. And I've had 10 years of solid fortnightly counselling with the same counsellor, learning about my reactions. Sorry, I've just got these kittens are really going rogue. I wish they would go outside. The door's open. Learning so many different things, and sometimes you have to go over things, because if you do meet someone or you do have a family situation and it brings up old things, you've got to go through them, and it's better to get it all out of the way and get it done than to to sit and deny it. Because if you sit and deny what you've been through, and you sit there and you think, I'm okay, I wasn't affected, or it doesn't affect how I treat other people, or how I live, or rah-rah, I'm sorry, but you're kidding yourself. I kidded myself for such a long time. And I'm aware now of how I can be, and so if I meet someone I like and I'm wanting to go into a relationship with them, I'm open with them, I'm honest, I tell them all this stuff. I tell them that there will be things that may come up that No, don't do that. Now we're playing with my laptop. Good. Hey, that's not an invitation to play. No. Oh my god. Okay, kittens are a pain. And apparently flicking a cord at them doesn't work. Not hitting them with it, by the way. Not animal cruelty. Just trying to scare them with it, but no. Anyway. So yeah, I'm open and honest, but I've unfortunately had 3 relationships where being open and honest about my triggers and things that push my buttons and things that can be used against me. You know, I've told them and then they've used them against me at the end of a relationship or in this last one, pretty much the whole way through. So sorry, I'm trying to follow my thoughts. Doing this ad lib is quite hard, but I guess I'd rather it be ad lib than scripted, you know. So I'm learning, don't give people ammunition, don't give everybody everything, but then I'm putting this out in the public arena, so at the end of the day, I've experienced what I have. I don't have a great relationship with my dad. I've tried with my family, but I don't ever feel like I'm good enough. I reached out when I had my son, you know, come visit me, please come help, please visit me, and I was just told, no, you visit us, come see us. I honestly have no idea why people wouldn't come here. Like, I live my life in piles. Creative chaos, it's called. I don't have a lot of storage. I fold things up, I place them in piles. It's how I've always done. My house is tidy, my floors are vacuumed, you know. When the kids were babies, especially Ellie, when I had postnatal depression, I wanted people to come around, so I cleaned the house every day. I'd vacuum every day, and my dad was here every day too, so I was like, well, Dad can't see the house less than perfect, because he's helping with the baby, so I did all the housework and put so much pressure on myself. Now the kids go away to their dads, and I leave the mess until they're just about home, and then I clean it. I mean, just their toys scattered everywhere. They're supposed to clean up before they go to dad's, but they don't do that. They're 4 and 6. They'll half pie tidy up, but yesterday I'm pretty sure my son's emptied his entire dinosaur collection into the lounge room floor. I don't use the lounge much. I sit at my computer in the dining room or I sit in my bedroom, so it's not really my space. That's their space. The lounge is my kid's space. Sorry, still gathering my thoughts. I'm losing my train. There's little tinkly bells in the background. I might have to take their collars off them at night. I mean, for all I've been through, I'm told I'm resilient. I have people tell me I'm amazing. Am I? I'm just a person. I'm just here. I've just had to take the cards that life has dealt me. And over the years, with support of friends and sometimes with just on my own, I've just had to pull my socks up and get over it. I don't get depressed like I used to when I was younger. I get anxious and I have my down days, but I don't have weeks and weeks of depression. Oh my god! They try to get 2 bolts that are behind the board, and literally they know, because they know that they're there, and they roll around the floor. They're from a baby gate, which I've had to put up to keep them contained, and they were little of it. Now it doesn't. But I have the baby gate for the 4-year-old because, well, there's just parts of the house he doesn't need to destroy. He destroys toys. That's enough. Right. If I move the bolts, then they can't play with them. Oh no, but they're still going to look for them, aren't they? I had a praying mantis that I had. Yes, I sprayed a praying mantis. That I had sprayed, and they found it. They could smell the praying mantis, and they found it. And I was just being lazy because it was night time. Usually I would vacuum it up, but I didn't want to start the vacuum cleaner. So I had to go and get a tissue and get it. Kittens aside, I do get anxious when I know that I'm being lied to or something's not quite right, like my intuition kicks in. My anxiety ramps up. And sometimes the answer as to what the cause is evident eventually. Excuse me, must be time for a cigarette soon. And other times it's not, but definitely in the last 6 months I have learnt that my intuition was spot on, and if I had listened to it at the beginning, then I wouldn't have had the heartbreak that I recently have. But at the same time, I had some good experiences, and so you take the good with the bad. And again, that's what's led me to live streaming and talking, and yeah. Eventually I hope to get enough viewers, followers, that we can get some interactive chats going. I've talked about sort of relationships in my condition with my mental health. And I am going to talk a little bit about dating sites, but not tonight. Parenting with PTSD is really hard. When I'm highly anxious, it's easy to be irritable with my children. And their noise and their fighting just gets on my nerves, and so I lose my patience a lot easier. And the children know that mummy's a bit special. But for the most part, I'm a singing, dancing, happy parent, and I want my children to be singing, dancing, happy children, which they are, and which I was up until stuff happened to me. So yeah, I'm doing my best to break cycles. I broke the alcohol cycle. I've broken the cycle of abuse. I've broken the cycle of neglect because my mum wasn't, she was drinking or out of it on drugs, so I don't know exactly how much parenting she did. I do remember her cooking and things. Hi there, welcome to my stream. Thank you for saying hi. I know at times she was a good mum, and then other times I remember her just being asleep, or having to get my sister to school. I'm only a couple of years older than her. Standing at the gate from school waiting to be picked up. Different people in our house being shut away, things like that. So that's why I give my children control of the lounge, and if I want to go and do something, I go away and I do it. Their space is the lounge. I don't want them to be shut away. I want them to feel like they're at home. If I want to go and read my book, I come to my bedroom. If I want some time out, they know where I am. They don't have to worry. They can call out to me, although quite often they get told, if you're fighting, I'm not coming. But it's yeah. Sorry. I really have almost run myself out here. Feeling a little bit emotional, feeling tired. I think the anti-anxiety has kicked in a bit. And the kittens still think that the bolts are behind the board. Yeah, if I suppose if I could change my life and where I've been, I might, but then I might not be who I am. And I just want to help people. You know, I would love to be able to help just one person. I would like just one person in the whole entire world to know that they're not alone. I would like people who haven't been there themselves to know that triggers and reactions are real. They're real for the people going through them. You might be like, oh, stuff this, triggers, reactions, it's just bullshit. Unless you've lived it yourself, please don't judge people, you know. I feel that there are two types of people that deny triggers and reactions. Those who haven't been through anything much themselves in their life, and then those who have and have triggers and reactions themselves and don't want to admit to it, so they belittle others. You know, we all go through life differently. We all have different experiences. Compassion towards one another is what we need, not belittling, not hating on people, not, you know. I have still a love-hate relationship with my mum. She was my everything. She was my mum. But I hate what she allowed to happen. And I hate that she continued to drink after being told not to when she told, you know, she was going to die. I hate those things. I don't hate people. I may hate things that people have done to me, but I also hate things that I've done to people in the past. In the past, if someone's helped me and I've been embarrassed for the help that I've asked for, I have detached afterwards. I've made sure to know that I appreciate them and thank them, and you know, but then I've pulled away because I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed that I've asked for help, that I've needed help. And I still feel that way. And when I do reach out for help, I kind of get told, oh, you're doing fine, you're doing great, don't worry about it, you know, you don't need help. Well, if I'm asking for help, don't you think that I might need some help? Like, I'm not asking much, I'm just asking for something little, but, you know, I still cope. I'm still here, I'm still doing it. Still living life, still making cakes, still being a mum, and a cat mum. Been to the gym once this week, haven't walked, but I'm hoping I will tomorrow, because my legs are feeling it from the gym, so I need to do something. And I need to motivate myself to get back into life, because while I am sad that I've lost the person that I was in love with, I have learned also that there was never going to be anything there from that side, and so it's time to sort of stop blaming myself and pick myself up and move on, because there were a lot of triggers and a lot of red flags in that relationship, and yeah, he as he says, everything's an experience, nothing is wasted, so I guess he's right, but yeah. So anyway, PTSD ended up talking about the relationship, but I mean, everything intertwines. All my family relationships, all my friendships. If I feel like someone's better than me or I'm not good enough for that person, then I won't be around. Yeah, I'm just trying to read this comment. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't do spa treatments. I've got false eyelashes that have just about fallen out. And hi, and welcome to my stream. I don't let anyone near my feet. Sorry, I wouldn't know, because I would kick someone. I literally would. Same with back, like massages. I can't get massages. Oh yeah, no, I've actually had a masseuse stop massaging and just give up because I just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. I couldn't take it. I get boyfriends get annoyed because they touch my back and I'm like, tickle. That's not really good in the middle of things. Anyway, yeah. So no, I'm sorry. I can't help you with that. I won't let anyone near my feet for that same reason. Maybe see if you can exchange the voucher. Most ticklish is my back and my feet, I'd say. The kittens like to sit on my feet, and that's a bit freaky. And my kids just like to tickle. Oh. Yeah. It's good to have a laugh. But yeah. I've got family members who love their feet tickled, and I'm just like, why? Oh. Yep. Yep. I get you there. I used to not be able to, but I can now. But I won't. I don't even like to touch my own feet. Not because they tickle, I just don't like feet. This is a very random conversation. But thank you for interacting. So yeah, maybe see if you can get a voucher exchanged or something. Oh my god, you are cursed forever. Actually, my ex-husband and I were like that. Tickle fights. But yeah. My kids have inherited my ticklishness too. Actually, when I was a kid, my uncle just used to have to go like that, and I'd run screaming, laughing, and yeah. So I don't actually like touch much, to be fair, especially by strangers. So I mean, in a partner situation, tickling and shit, tickling and touching and all that's all good. But yeah, no, I'm not keen on. Get me. Go for it. The kittens will. Hey, Arto. She's like, oh, put me down. I don't want to tickle. I want to sleep. And Dito's hiding behind the laptop. Hey, Dates, say hi to the world. You're world famous. On Twitch to 2 viewers. So yes, I have named my kittens. Oops. R2. D2. Because why not? Well, it's been a very interesting stream. I think that I'm probably done now. Unless anybody's got any questions.